Okay, now we have Inventor started up and working the way we want it. We have everything set up and exactly what I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to start drawing something, which is pretty easy to do. What we need to do is go up to the top corner again where it says new, click on there. We come up with our little selection of things that we can do, and what we want to do is in this first group where it says part. So we're going to make an individual part, and then you've got two choices. You've got sheet metal and standard. Always choose standard. Sheet metal's only in there for a bit of fun, but we can ignore that for the moment. And you can either double click on this or click once and then hit create. Works out the same in the end. And then your computer will think for a while. Mine's very quick, but yours may take a minute to think, and you'll eventually come to a screen where everything changes colour. Nice grey background. Some of you might have a blue background. And then you get lots of buttons up the front, up the top. And then you get extra toolbars with even more buttons. Some of them are colourful, some of them are boring. We won't use most of them, so I won't show you what most of them are. What we're going to do first, in order to create a part, is to do a sketch first. And you'll see up here, we got our, up in the top corner again, is our sketch button. Now when you're creating a sketch, you want to click on the picture of the button, not on the words. If you click on the words, you can change what the button does. You get 2D sketches and 3D sketches. And I know we are doing 3D models, but you do not do 3D sketches. 3D sketches is very confusing. You only want to do 2D sketches. So if you're creating a sketch, click on the picture of the button, not on the words. Always click on the picture. So click on that, and then all of a sudden this orange thing spins out of space. Now, what we got here are what are called work planes. Now we can imagine that inside of our computer screen there, it is a big empty 3D space. It goes off for infinity. So we can draw something in there that is a little tiny 1mm cube part, or we can draw something that is 1 kilometer long. So what we have in there at the moment is somewhere we can actually start drawing, because we've got all that infinite space. We need somewhere to start, and the place to start is the 0 point. So everything comes off this one tiny point floating in the middle of infinity, which is this point right here where everything crosses over. And what these are our planes that we can draw on. Now what I like to do is I like to think of these planes as being something in real life. So this one here I like to think of being the floor. So if you look down at the moment at your floor, you can imagine that is exactly the same. This one here is the wall right behind your computer. Over here, this one could be the wall over towards your left or to your right. And what you can do is you can start drawing on the floor or the walls to start making your 3D shape. I always like to start drawing on the floor. I don't know why, that's just me. You can start drawing on this one if you want, or this one. At the moment it does not matter. So I'm going to start drawing on the floor. So click on the floor when it's highlighted, and then everything rotates, and you can see that you head up with just 2 black lines. So right now you're just looking directly straight down at the floor. In the center here you've got a little tiny yellow dot. That is 0. That is the center of the world. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to draw a simple rectangle. I'm going to click on the rectangle button up the top. Remember, click on the picture, not on the words. If you click on the words, it gives you all sorts of different other options. You just want to click on the picture of the rectangle. And all you do is click. Make sure the first thing you do is click on the 0 point. See where it says 0mm and 0mm and the little green dot in the middle? Make sure you have that. Always start at 0. The first thing you always do is always start at 0. Click on 0 and then drag up. You can have these little dimensions on the side here. They will tell you how big your square is or rectangle is. You can type right now to change things. So if I type 15, this will change the 15. That is your own option, or you can simply click and drag. And then to stop drawing rectangles, you press escape. Now you'll notice that two sides of your rectangle are black and two sides are green. What this means is that Inventor knows that these two sides here, it knows where they are because they attach to 0, 0. So if you try to grab one of those and move it, it does not move. Inventor knows exactly where in space that is sitting, so you can't move that. But the green line, Inventor doesn't know where that is. It is just a line at the moment, so we can click and drag a green line. Or we can click on an edge and, click on the edge and grab the edge and move it around. The corner, sorry, not the edge. But if you grab this corner, you can only move one direction because the black line is stuck. Now that's very important. Every single sketch must be black when you finish it. Otherwise it's just floating in space and nobody knows where it is. Now the way we can do that, I'm just going to drag this. If you want to move things around, it's very easy if you've got a mouse. So if you've got a scroll wheel on the center of your mouse, if you press down on that, you can pan and move and zoom in and out. And you can move everything anywhere. Whoa, there we go. So remember, you can press down on your scroll wheel to move around. Very handy. Anyway, to make sure that these two lines here are black, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this dimension tool up the top here. And you can see if you hold your mouse over something, it tells you what it does. It's very nice. Click on the dimension tool, then I'm going to click on a green line, then I'm going to move my mouse upwards or downwards, up to you, and then click again. What it's done is it's told me how long that line is, so I can make my rectangle to be a certain length. So I'm going to tell it to be 20. So if you type in 20 now, click enter, your rectangle suddenly becomes 20 long. And you'll notice that this line here is now black, because it knows that this line here is on 0 and this line is 20 millimeters away from 0. So I can now not move that line at all. But if I decide that 20 was wrong, all I have to do is double click and then type in 25 or 15 or 10 million, click enter. Now it's 25. Do exactly the same thing here. I'm going to be different and make this one 20. And there we go, one rectangle.